Congratulations on finishing the main part of the course. We now know how to use Axum with routes and data, and to create users, and with some authentication with security too. Uh, but we have one last part of this project, which is a project for the entire course. Now, the rest of these videos that I'm going to be making are going to be for the project solution. There might be some other addendum videos that happen afterwards or during. Those will be before the project in the entire sort of like list of videos. Okay, so the project. The project is going to be a to-do application that we already have sort of written out. If you've taken the Introduction to You course, it's the same exact backend, except now it's going to be in Axum instead of Express. So let's go ahead and see about getting started with any of the things that we need. Well, uh, to show you where the backend sort of exists right now, if in the root of our project, we can see we have backend, we have a Docker Compose file, and then we have this sort of database section. And of course, the integrated tests, which are going to be really important for us. The Docker Compose file is what we're going to use to spin up a database for ourselves. And we've probably already done that for the data section, but I'm going to re-go over it just in case we either forgot or we're skipping the data section and going straight to the project. So if I bat the Docker Compose, all we're going to have to do here is do a Docker Compose up, and the database will start up because there's no profile on this one. Every other service in here has a profile on it. So if you, for example, want to spin up the Node.js Express application that we're replacing, you just need to use the Node.js Express profile, for example. That does run on port 3000, so we will not be able to run the Node.js Express and our app on the same port. So just be aware, I'm going to be running on port 3000. If you're following along and you want both of them up at the same time, you'll have to choose a different port for either Node.js by updating where is it? Updating this number, or update the server on your side, then you have to update the test. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this started now. So we're going to do a Docker Compose up. I want this to run in the background, and I want this to wait until it's healthy. So let's go ahead and get that going. This does take a little bit of time the first time you run it because it has to spin up the database and seed it. For me, this should take a little bit less time because the database has already been created and the volume already has all the data inside of it, so it doesn't need to seed and run the migrations. Okay, so we have a healthy database here. Running the tests. If we notice, we have an integration tests folder here. So if we cd into integration tests, we have the backend and the front end tests. This time we're going to go into backend tests, and we have a Node.js project. So this is using Jest behind the scenes, and then basically just Axios to hit our API. It doesn't care what what technology is being used. So these tests work equally well with the Express API and also our Axum API that we're going to be creating. I've gone ahead and pulled the backend test folder into my project workspace here, so that way I can just easily reference it if necessary. If we click into it, there's only one test file, everything just sort of in here. And then we would be, for example, looking through, okay, well, to do API, we have user CRUD. We want to do a sign up. And so here's where like the full test code for how sign up is going to happen, where it's going to hit our server at this URL and pass it a user. It's going to expect the response to have certain data in it. It's going to then actually check and like check to make sure it's logged in, check expect that certain things are in the database for us. So it's actually going to check the database to make sure that we did things correct. Like for example, it's going to expect that the password is not the same as the password passed in. So it's not plain text, it has to be hashed. And then it's going to do a bcrypt compare. So we do have to use bcrypt for this project simply because I wrote that into the test. Okay, and I think that's everything we need to prepare for it. So in the next video, we're gonna do the sort of set up a hello world, and then I guess like get going with the first test. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to going through the project with you. Bye.